Everybody, this is Shad Sullivan coming to you from the headwaters of Bitter Creek, Archer County, North Texas. We have to talk. State officials will be assisting to help identify potential alternative markets if a producer is unable to move animals, and if necessary, advise and assist on depopulation and disposal methods. Ladies and gentlemen, we are plowing under vegetable crops from coast to coast. We are euthanizing millions of chickens. We are aborting sows and burying feeder pigs. We are dumping milk by the hundreds of thousands of gallons, and now they are preparing us to depopulate the fat cattle ready to harvest because of a bottleneck created by the effects of COVID. This thing hasn't been created by COVID, but the effects of COVID and the logistics therein. We are in trouble. Our food supply is in trouble, and I am appealing to producers and consumers across the nation to start calling. Yesterday, the first shipment of imported beef from the country of Namibia hit the shores of the United States of America. And yet this morning, they are telling us to prepare to euthanize harvest-ready cattle. Am I the only one that sees a problem in this? It is time we get the American people back to work. It is time we get money flowing. It is time we get food on the shelves. Because if you're not concerned about this food supply problem, you better be. We have a huge supply and demand of food across this nation. We can feed the world ourselves, and yet we're destroying our harvests. At the same time, we are importing beef from other countries, beef that is less regulated than our beef, less safe, not as high quality of product, and yet it's happening. At the same time, they are preparing for us to euthanize our harvests. Does that make sense to America? For the last 10 years, we have been pressed to be sustainable. I've said all along, sustainability is a fraud. And right now, we're being forced to destroy our harvests. That doesn't sound like sustainability to me. It is time we get back to work. It is time the American people force the government to listen to us. We are of, by, and for the people. This is not Nancy Pelosi's country. This is not Donald Trump's country. This is your country, and you're going to go hungry. We must get regional and local packing houses up and going. Do we have to have those big packing plants? You bet we do, and they need to be running right now. You as a consumer are in trouble. My dad told me years ago the best thing that would happen to America is if everybody had to sit in the dark, cold, and hungry, and that would wake them up. Well, I think it's coming. We're in a dangerous position, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get going on this today, not tomorrow, today. You need to be calling your legislators. We need to be opening up the country. Your food supply is in danger. Ranchers are going broke every day. We're doing all we can to stay here. We are in crisis in America. This is a crisis. This is a national crisis. And everybody's just sitting back enjoying their time off, enjoying that $1,200, not knowing that overnight you're going to go hungry. It's coming. My apologies for my tone. I'm worried about my country.
Elevated price of oil and gasoline and diesel is keeping food prices up as well. The transportation of the product has food prices up 7.9% year over year. What's your take on food prices and inflation in America right now?
They will continue to rise over the next 30, 60, 90 days. and there's no choices. I mean, I would say in the next 30 to 45 days, you'll see food prices up another 10%.
Another 10%. Joe Concha, jump in here.
Hey, John, is this increase in food prices, obviously it's affecting the way folks at home are buying food at this point, right? Like you almost have to change the behavior because it costs more money to fill up that car, to get gas, to get to a store that sells food. I'm just curious, is this having a direct impact on your business as far as workers and staffing? Are you able to still hold everybody, or do you have to start cutting at some point?
No, we are not cutting. People are adjusting to it. Maybe, well, even Oreo cookies are up to over $7. They have not cut down on their Oreo cookies yet. And
yeah.
they're not, but it's at some place it's going to start affecting things. But if Joe Biden reverses course and opens up North America, and what I recommended, the North American energy treaty, we can produce 15 million barrels a day and make North America self-sufficient. And there's no reason we should be making our enemies rich and making the American people poor. And that's what it comes down to.
Yep.
The grocery store in recent weeks, then you know that your bill has been a lot higher than you're used to. And according to a new report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, those prices are only going to climb higher. What we've seen over the past year is food prices have shot up dramatically. The U.S. Department of Agriculture put out its food prices outlook for the year, and it noted a spike in food prices across the board. Most notable prices in meat, prices for beef and veal going up more than 16%, prices for poultry going up 12%, prices for things like fish and seafood going up 10%. A lot of restaurants are paying these same higher prices for different food, and as a result, in most cases, a lot of those costs go directly to the consumer, which means you're going to be paying more when you go to a restaurant. This is definitely unprecedented, and a lot of it is linked to inflation. Inflation has been at its highest levels in 40 years, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing food prices go up. There have been several different factors that have contributed to this. We also have the conflict going on with Russia and Ukraine, and that's having an impact on food prices. There's also some more specific things happening as well. When you're looking at the prices of poultry and eggs, for example, there is an avian influenza outbreak, and that has contributed to a spike in the cost of eggs and poultry. There's a lot of different things happening and coming together, and that's what's causing prices in food to go up dramatically. Unfortunately, this is something that's not going to go away anytime soon, and in fact, it is likely to get worse. The outlook put out by the USDA pointed out that all food groups have seen an increase in prices, and it's expected to climb even higher through the rest of the year. And again, there are certain categories we're going to see higher increases than others. Poultry, for example, eggs, fish and seafood, fats and oils, things like that rise in price much higher than maybe some other categories. But across the board, we're going to be paying more for food.
Even more for food. The USDA outlook for 2022 shows you could be spending up to 4% more for food by the end of this year. Dairy prices are expected to go up between 4 and 5%. And prices for things like cereal, baked goods, and sweets could go up 3 to 4%. A bird flu outbreak could mean you'll also have to fork over more money for things like eggs and chicken. The first U.S. epidemic in 2015 cost the poultry industry more than $1.5 billion and caused egg prices to nearly double. And gas prices remain high despite a little drop in U.S. oil prices on Tuesday. The U.S. Secretary of Energy says the price to fill up the gas tank in the U.S. will be up as long as the Russia-Ukraine war is going on. She says gasoline prices lag behind oil prices because the oil has to go through the refinery process, then pipelines, then to local gas stations. And